Heathland is incredibly important. It's a very declining habitat. It's one of the most declining habitats in the UK. It's declined by 85% over the last 150 years, mainly from agriculture and urban development like we've got here. It's important because it is declining. It's got some very particular species that require the plants that only grow on these types of soils. An example of that would be the small heath butterfly, which was recorded just up the Anglesey Branch Canal here. And that's a biodiversity action plan species and a section 41 species as well. So it's very rare and we're quite lucky to have it here. So we're trying to just improve and extend the heathland, give them more habitat. Today we're doing some planting on the Anglesey Branch Canal, part of which is a triple SI, which is a site of special scientific interest, through the little hole in the bottom, and then it doesn't damage the root system. So we just pop it up. Just a little bit further up and we'll be going to do some seeding up there, but we're putting in some heather and some bilberry plugs in this area to try and extend and improve the habitat that we have here. I brought with us bilberry, and then we've also got the heather, and what I'd like to do is put the bilberry in on this side, because we've got quite a lot of heather here already. Bilberry is a plant specific for heathland habitat. So heathland tends to be very sandy soil, so it's quite impoverished for nutrients. And it has some very particular species that like to grow here. So bilberry is one of them, and we're just adding it because there isn't much bilberry here already, and we're just trying to increase the biodiversity of this area. As you can see, we've got some heather, and we've also got some gorse, which are again heathland plants, so they like to grow on the very sandy soils. Heather on both sides. Okay. Heather both sides, that's the plan. In heathland, they're quite good for reptiles and amphibians. They tend to be quite dry. You'll get some specialist species of butterfly and bees. Another one for here is actually the bilberry bumblebee, which is a declining and rare species in the UK. And it has been recorded just further down the canal from here. So we're hoping if we can kind of make a connection corridor, it'll be able to travel up and expand its population to this end as well. We do have quite a few volunteers with the Canal and River Trust who've helped us with the habitat works, but we've also been recruiting volunteers with our community outreach engagement officers as well.
I am a MSc wildlife biology student looking for some work experience. I've kind of been involved with this project all year round. So I've come down to do some heathland mapping. We've walked lengths of the canal looking for areas that are appropriate to plant heather and to restore the heathland back. I've helped harvest the heather seed, and now I'm here helping plant the bilberry and plant the heather seeds.
So heathland does take positive intervention, so it takes management to stop it from becoming successional woodland. So we'll thin out a lot of the saplings. It tends to be birch and oak and bracken as well, and some of the gorse if it can get a bit overgrown, like we've done here. So we've done a clearance, and then we'll clear this now with a rake and we'll put some seed down. So this is a heather seed that we harvested from a little bit further down the canal where we were earlier, last November. You can harvest heather between October and December, just before the seeds drop. They can take a couple of years to germinate because heather's a very slow growing plant. Because it's from this stretch, we can use it along the triple SI area as well. Because there's thousands of seeds in each of the heather pods. So even if just a handful of those establish, they then can self-seed. So once you've got a couple, it actually just keeps it going. So we'll see. We've put down quite a lot there, so hopefully it'll work. Green Recovery is funded by DEFRA and the National Heritage Lottery Fund. They funded us for, I think it was 18 months in total, to do lots of different habitat works across the West Midlands. Well, heathland is so rare. I'm passionate about the work that we're doing, so I do think it's going to make a big difference to a very rare and declining habitat. It's been a real joy to work on.